All right, everyone, welcome back. We're kicking off the year with a deep dive into some early 2025 Formula One news.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, it's January. The new season is just around the corner, and we've got this uh, really interesting article from Marcia. It's a Spanish sports publication,
Okay.
and it's got me kind of fired up. It's about crash tests.
Ah, yes. Crash tests, not exactly the most glamorous part of F1,
No.
but they are absolutely crucial.
Especially this year, right?
Yeah, especially this year.
Because 2025 is kind of like the last hurrah before those huge 2026 regulation changes come in.
Exactly. This is it. This is the last chance for teams to really perfect their designs under the current rules.
So if they can nail these crash tests early,
Huge advantage.
it's a big deal.
Yeah. Think about it. The sooner a team passes those tests, the sooner they can shift their focus from just like basic structural integrity to, really fine-tuning performance.
Right. Every little bit counts.
Absolutely. When you're talking about those tiny margins that separate the front of the grid from the back every single day matters.
And speaking of the front of the grid, the article specifically mentions Red Bull and Ferrari passing with flying colors,
Interesting.
which I thought was really interesting on a couple of levels. First of all, Red Bull, they were dominant last year in 2024.
Yeah,
So you might think they could just kind of coast a little bit.
you'd think so, right?
But no, they're right out of the gate.
It seems like they're not taking any chances.
And then there's Ferrari.
Mm.
They were really coming on strong towards the end of last season.
They were. They really found some momentum.
So to have them ace these tests already,
It's a statement for sure.
it says something.
It says they mean business.
What I find particularly fascinating about Red Bull's early success is that this is their first car designed without Adrian Newey at the helm.
Right. You're talking about the legendary Adrian Newey.
Yeah. I mean, their championship-winning RB20 from last year,
Mm-hmm.
even that had some early issues.
It did. It took them a while to sort that car out.
So the fact that they've passed the crash tests so early this year,
They're pretty confident in their new design direction.
even without Newey there every day.
Even without Neri. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Which leads us to probably the biggest shocker of the off-season, Newey's move to Aston Martin.
Wow. Yeah, that was a bombshell.
I mean, what does this mean for Red Bull? For Aston Martin? For the entire sport?
Well, I think for Aston Martin, we won't really see the full impact of Newey's genius until 2026 when those new regulations kick in.
Right.
I mean, this guy, he's a master at finding those loopholes and creative solutions within the rules.
He's a legend.
But for 2025, this is Red Bull's chance to prove they can maintain that dominance without him.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're more than just Adrian Newey. We've got a whole team of brilliant engineers.
Exactly. They're trying to show the world that their success wasn't just down to one man.
Right. And on the flip side, Aston Martin, they're playing the long game.
They are. You can see the strategy unfolding. They've got Newey leading the design charge. They're bringing in Honda as their engine supplier in 2026.
It's like they're assembling this dream team.
They're clearly setting themselves up for a major championship run.
So 2025 becomes a proving ground of sorts.
It does. It's a fascinating setup.
Can Red Bull stay on top in the post-Newey era? And can Ferrari capitalize on their strong finish to last year and that early crash test success?
It's going to be fascinating to watch. It really is. The pressure's on both these teams, and the stakes are incredibly high. It's going to be exciting, for sure. But, that also puts a lot of pressure on the team.
Oh, yeah.
Managing two drivers like Verstappen and Hamilton.
Right.
With those huge personalities and championship aspirations.
It could be a challenge for Ferrari.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of potential shakeups, though,
Yeah.
what about McLaren?
McLaren. They were quietly putting together a pretty impressive string of results by the end of last year.
They were.
They've had a bit of a roller coaster ride the last few seasons.
They have.
But it seems like they might finally be finding their footing again.
So could they be a dark horse contender this year?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people seem to think so.
Yeah. They've got a really talented young driver pairing with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Right.
And the team just seems to have this renewed sense of purpose.
They've got the potential, that's for sure.
Oh, they do. And don't forget, McLaren has a history of pulling off surprises.
That's true.
They've got a strong engineering team, a passionate fan base,
Yeah.
and they're not afraid to take risks.
All right. So we've got Red Bull trying to prove they can stay on top without Newey. We've got Ferrari aiming to finally turn that potential into a championship. And we've got McLaren emerging as this kind of dark horse contender.
It's shaping up to be quite a season.
Is there anyone else we should be keeping an eye on?
Well, you can never count out Mercedes.
True.
They might have had a relatively quiet 2024.
They did.
But They're still a team with immense resources and a proven track record of success.
Yeah. But it does feel like there's a changing of the guard happening.
It does, doesn't it?
Like the old order is being challenged.
Yeah.
New teams and new drivers are stepping up. It's what makes this era of Formula One so exciting.
It really is.
That established hierarchy is being disrupted. There's a real sense of unpredictability.
The competition is fierce.
It is. Anything can happen.
All right, so let's talk driver rivalries.
Ooh,
Obviously, all eyes are going to be on Verstappen and Hamilton at Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. That's a matchup for the ages.
Two of the best drivers on the grid.
Absolutely.
Both hungry for victory. Now teammates at the most iconic team in Formula One.
The pressure is going to be immense.
Can you imagine the intensity in that garage?
Oh, I can only imagine.
The battle for the top spot within the team.
Yeah.
Ferrari might need to hire a referee just to keep things under control.
They might.
And then there's this psychological battle that will play out on the track.
Oh, yeah.
Every overtaking maneuver, every qualifying lap.
Every single point is going to be fiercely contested.
It's going to be epic. But it's not just about those two, is it?
No, it's not.
There are other drivers who will be looking to make their mark this year. You've got George Russell at Mercedes, Lando Norris at McLaren, Fernando Alonso, who's still going strong at Alpine.
Don't forget about Alonso.
I mean, the talent pool is so deep right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
This is arguably one of the most competitive generations of drivers we've ever seen in Formula One.
And that just makes those battles on track even more intense.
And unpredictable.
Exactly.
You never know who's going to come out on top.
And then there's the elephant in the room, the 2026 regulation changes.
Yes, the big shakeup.
We've already talked about how they might shake up the pecking order.
Right.
But what about the drivers?
Well, those changes are going to have a huge impact on driver careers.
Yeah,
For some, it'll be a chance for a fresh start.
a clean slate.
Yeah, an opportunity to prove themselves under a new set of rules.
But for others,
It might signal the end of an era.
Fernando Alonso, for example, he's already hinted that 2025 might be his final season.
Really?
Yeah, he's achieved everything in this sport.
He has.
And the prospect of starting over with a whole new set of regulations.
It might not be that appealing at this point in his career.
Exactly. I mean, he's a legend.
He is.
But as one door closes,
And then when one opens.
the 2026 regulations will also create opportunities for younger drivers.
Right. They'll get their chance to step up and establish themselves.
Exactly. We could see a whole new wave of talent surge into Formula One.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
It's like a reset button for the sport.
It is. The established order is up for grabs.
And that next generation of drivers...
They're ready to seize their moment.
So 2025 isn't just about crowning a champion.
No, it's not.
It's about setting the stage for a new era of Formula One.
It's a pivotal year.
It's about witnessing the changing of the guard.
And the emergence of new stars.
That Marcier article that we started with,
Yep.
it focused mainly on Red Bull and Ferrari.
Right.
But what about the other teams? Any hints about how they're shaping up for 2025?
The article doesn't really delve into specifics about other teams' crash test timelines or development strategies, but it does emphasize that 2025 is a critical year for everyone on the grid.
So I guess it's safe to assume that every team is working tirelessly behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Even if we don't have all the juicy details yet.
It's Formula One. They love their secrecy.
Always keeping their cards close to their chests.
Exactly.
But those crash tests?
Yeah.
They might seem like just a routine formality.
Right.
But I think they actually offer some really intriguing insights
Oh, yeah.
into how the teams are approaching this season.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Both Red Bull and Ferrari, they aced those tests incredibly early.
They did, didn't they?
And that could be a sign of a couple of things.
Okay.
First, it shows that they're confident.
Confident in their designs.
Exactly. They've clearly put in the work.
Done their homework.
They believe those cars are fundamentally sound
Structurally.
from a structural perspective.
Makes sense.
So that early confidence,
Right.
that allows them to shift their focus.
To fine-tuning and optimizing performance.
Yeah. Every lap of testing, every wind tunnel session, every CFD simulation.
It's even more valuable.
When you've already got that crash test hurdle out of the way.
Absolutely. It's a huge advantage.
And then the second thing it suggests is that they're feeling the pressure. Remember, this is the last year of these regulations.
Right. The last hurdle.
It's their last chance to squeeze every bit of performance out of these cars.
Before the 2026 revolution.
Exactly.
So they're not wasting any time.
So we've got Red Bull. They want to cement their dynasty one last time.
Okay.
Ferrari, they're desperate to finally claim that championship.
They've been close.
And then lurking in the shadows,
You've got Aston Martin,
slowly but surely building their empire,
with Newey at the helm.
and Honda joining the party in 2026.
It's a fascinating dynamic.
It really is. And it all points to one really big question.
What's that?
Will we see a shift in the balance of power in Formula One?
Ah, the big question.
Will Red Bull's reign continue? Will Ferrari finally rise to the top?
Or will a dark horse like McLaren or even Aston Martin emerge from the shadows?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Me neither.
And that's what makes this so exciting.
It does.
The 2025 season has it all. Intense rivalries, cutting-edge technology.
And a looming sense of change.
It's going to be a season full of twists and turns.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. And we haven't even touched on some of the other big questions.
What do you mean?
Well, what's up the new cost cap regulations? How will that impact team development?
Right. Could that lead to closer racing?
Maybe. Or will the big teams find a way to stay ahead?
And then there's the whole driver market musical chairs.
Oh, yeah. Some big seats still up for grabs for 2026.
Exactly.
Lots of speculation.
And don't forget about the sustainability initiatives.
Right. Formula One is really pushing for a greener future.
Will we see significant advancements in biofuels and hybrid technology?
It's going to be interesting to see how that all unfolds.
So many questions. So much anticipation.
It's going to be an incredible year.
It is. We're just scratching the surface here.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Formula One.
My pleasure.
We'll be back soon to break it all down as the 2025 season gets underway.
Until then, keep those engines revving.
See you next time, everyone.